I have many questions for Marvel, but the biggest is, what are you doing? Hi everyone, I'm Bunny Bouncer, and welcome to my rabbit hole of gaming and all things in the geekdom. As you can tell, I've been busy and I have a new setup. Whether or not it's better is to be determined. So there was a time when superhero movies were nothing more than popcorn flicks. There was no real story or character building, no real world development. There was nothing in them that made them anything more than a cool action film for geeks. Then Marvel Studios came along and they revolutionized and changed the superhero action flick genre. Well, I'm sorry to say that Marvel Studios that we know and love is gone and has been body snatched and turned into something that I don't get anymore. The trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home dropped recently, and although it looks good and it looks entertaining, it didn't assuage the doubts I had, it actually heightened the doubts. Now, I want to preface this by saying that although I really like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I am not the biggest Spider-Man fan. I like him, but I don't love him. And also, when I heard about this movie and what it was about, I was very skeptical. Honestly, I thought it was going to tank. And my feelings of that have only been strengthened since the trailer. And here's why. Although the trailer looks good, it looks flashy and entertaining, and all the stuff that we expect from Marvel, there are a lot of issues that I have with the story, and the trailer touched on those issues. But rather than, getting rid of those issues, it actually just reaffirmed that those issues are going to continue to be there. First off, he's having a mental crisis because people have found out his identity. That's nothing new in the MCU. In fact, all the other heroes are known. Everybody knows who's behind the masks of these heroes in the MCU. He was the exception. So why is he acting like it's groundbreaking and it's somehow, unheard of and new that people know who he is? This comes with the hero territory in this universe. Why did he not look at Iron Man's Malibu home getting struck by a missile and think to himself, I should stop while I'm ahead before somebody finds out who I am and does the same thing to me and my loved ones? Why didn't he see Captain America getting framed for things he didn't do multiple times and having to go on the run? Did it really never occur to him that people were going to find out who he was and there was going to be repercussions? Also, why is Strange helping? Why is he helping a teenage kid who wants to keep being a hero without facing the accountability that comes along with it? Why is he helping him tamper with the timeline? Also, why does the Sorcerer Supreme have so little focus that a teenage kid can mess him up during a spell? Him, the Sorcerer Supreme, a world-renowned surgeon, someone who saved the world on multiple occasions. He should have more focus. In fact, in the past, he's had more focus, but it seemingly vanished in this one. Oh, they're also bringing in dead villains from other timelines, like Doc Ock and Green Goblin. And you can't say they're from the Andrew Garfield timeline because it's the same actors from the Tobey Maguire timeline. And there's my other issue. Why do they have Peter Parker being played by different actors? Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were confirmed for this a while ago. And I know they're heavily and essentially completely relying on nostalgia for all of this, but it doesn't make sense to me. First off, the other Spider-Man movies have not aged well, so relying on that nostalgia is not a bonus to me. It's actually kind of a bad thing. But it doesn't make sense because every part of their story is the same. They have the same family members, they lost their parents, they got the same powers, they got it the same way, they went to school with the same people, they're in the same city, they date the same girls. The only thing different is their appearance. Why? I'd be fine if they were doing Miles Morales and Spider-Girl and Spider-Gwen and all the different Spider people, because it makes more sense than having Peter Parker from all these different timelines. Some reason they look different even though it's the exact same story. It doesn't make sense to me. Honestly, nothing Marvel has done since Endgame has made sense to me. Marvel has always had a plan. The after-credit scene for Iron Man, which people thought was gonna be a flop, it was leading into the Avengers. But none of their projects feel like there's a plan or a rhyme or reason to them. They feel like popcorn flicks, feeding off of the work that came before them. But they have nothing that they're leading to. It's like Marvel has just taken a step back and said, you know what, guys, I'm done. We had a good run. Let's just call it here and just have fun with things. So to Marvel, I would just say, what's going on? What happened to you? What happened to the world and character building? What happened to the forethought for every little detail? What happened to your continuity? You were known and praised for your continuity. And I'm not talking about using the same characters. I'm talking about your projects that come after certain projects being cohesive together. They need to fit. They don't fit. Black Widow went against one of the main character storylines that she had, which was her having never had a family and finding one of the Avengers. Loki made the Infinity Stones meaningless. You know, the little tiny stones that killed off half of the galactic population? Yeah. According to Loki, those meant nothing. Falcon and Winter Soldier painted Steve Rogers as this racist who stepped on the opportunities of a black man who was more worthy of the mantle. I don't understand what they're doing. It's like they're trying to completely undo everything they've done before. I was excited for Shang-Chi. I feel like I'm one of the only people who knew anything about him before he was announced. He's a kind of a lesser-known character. But with everything that Marvel has been doing with their work lately, I'm a little scared to go see it now. I feel like they're going to ruin it for me. Marvel has just gone woke, and I'm pretty sure they fired all their good writers. You know what it feels like? It feels like some big shot CEO for Marvel Studios or for Disney. It feels like their kid just graduated college with a liberal arts and filmography degree, and so they gave them this big giant job to direct and lead these upcoming Marvel projects. DC has not inspired much hope in me, but if I could say one thing to DC is please take this massive opportunity and step it up. Fill in the gap that Marvel is willingly leaving. Comment down below if you still have some hope for Spider-Man No Way Home or some hope for Marvel Studios. Honestly, Shang-Chi, if that goes poorly, it's probably going to be my last straw.